Because every day above ground is a good day. Some are just more questionable than others. Questionable call. Friday edition. Let's roll with 7 on the board. And we begin at the Republican National Convention. Hulk Hogan, Hulk-A-MANIA, talking about Trump-A-MANIA. Take a look at this.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
And they tried to kill the next President of the United States.
Here it comes.
Enough was enough.
Here it comes.
And I said,
look at the bottom, though.
Trump-A-MANIA,
bottom won't tear.
Run wild.
Finish it. Get it. There it is.
Trump-A-MANIA rule again. Let Trump-A-MANIA make America great again.
Wow. Look at the former president. Look at that. Questions on the board. Question on a scale of 1 to 10. How surreal is this? On a scale of 1 to 10, let's go with 47 is in the presidency that's on the line here. Imagine that you were in a coma from 2015. Last night, you wake up. You look up on the corner of the TV there in the screen in the hospital room, and you say to yourself, what is going on? And the nurse says, oh, yeah, no, Donald Trump is running for re-election of the presidency. And you're like, re-election? Like, well, he was, then he wasn't for 4 years, now he's coming back again. He got convicted of a bunch of felonies. But anyway, Hulk Hogan, you would say to yourself, there's no way this is real life. That's how surreal all this is. That wasn't Terry Bollea. That was Hulk Hogan in character, speaking prime time at the Republican National Convention on Thursday night. Outstanding, surreal. This isn't real life. This is what life is. Outstanding. We continue on in the countdown up to number 6. And it comes to us from college football and SEC media days. Lane Kiffin, formerly a coach out there at USC. Paul Finebaum, the same day that Kiffin got fired, talking on TV about how Kiffin should be fired. Watch this.
Oh, yeah. When you got me fired at USC, I got myself fired at USC, but you didn't help.
It's a better
that.
story if I got you fired.
You really did. Because it is a true story that the athletic director and the president were on that trip. We were playing that night, and you were on college game day, and you had to make your big splash, and they were watching it, because I know the other person in the room that was watching it with them.
Wow.
And you said what a joke I was, and I'm the Miley Cyrus of college football coaching, and I should be fired. And they looked at each other, and later that night I was fired.
So Lane's telling the truth here. He's like, you were on TV that day. You were talking all that stuff. You literally convinced the president and the bosses to fire me. You're why this happened. But then look what Lane said.
But hey, look what happened. I would have never gotten to work for Coach Saban. All these other things wouldn't happen, so I appreciate you for helping getting me fired.
Look at that. Look on the bright side, says Lane Kiffin. And then Lane Kiffin basically is saying, you called out Miley Cyrus and me. You were wrong on both. Watch this.
Doing today, you're predicted to go to the play. And look at Miley Cyrus. She's had a nice comeback.
So
here.
you're wrong on that. I mean, you putting me down with that. So really, I don't really know what you're good at. Like you predicted that Coach Saban was done. That didn't happen. You basically said Miley Cyrus stinks, and she's still going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, it's always great to be ridiculed by Lane Kiffin here at SEC
Media Days is where he finishes with that. Question is on the board. Question, what is the future for these two? These two are going to wind up working together. Mark my words. Think podcast. Think Eli and Peyton. Think one of those type deals. These two have chemistry. They're sitting there by themselves, and they're going back and forth like this. And by the way, they're not really joking. That's just two dudes that are keeping it real. Finebaum does not care. Kiffin is a different bird altogether. These two are going to wind up together doing what we just saw on a much bigger scale, because that is real, that is raw, that is compelling, and that is authentically fascinating. Let's roll on to the countdown up to number 5. Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, his father Joe passing away earlier this week. And now we've got former friends that are coming out saying Kobe wasn't at all the type of person that you thought he was, and in a bad way. Take a look at this.
Cousin came to me, he said, Kev, I'm going to tell you something about this guy. Dude is a certified piece of shit. The man never did nothing for nobody in his family. Like he got a $500 million empire. His sisters was working regular jobs. You see his mom and them got to sell memorabilia and shit. But even when he was home, remember that memorabilia? That's because dude just a certified, he just don't care about nobody but his wife and them and the new family.
And the new family. The question is on the board. Question, what is his motivation here? Well, the timing would be such that when Joe Jellybean Bryant passed this week at the age of 69, we were reminded of the fact that there were legal proceedings between Joe and his son, Kobe, and that Joe was selling memorabilia and things that belonged to Kobe. Now, we wonder why that was. You know, I should drive by that house back in Philadelphia in Ardmore along the main line. They lived in a nice house. Family was doing just fine. Kobe was still a high school kid. This, to me, feels like an issue of timing and carrying with him that saltiness, that bitterness, that sense of, yo, you know, when I needed help and we were friends and I said, I'm not looking for a handout. I got my hand up. I'm looking for work, a job. Kobe did start a new life. When he went to Los Angeles, he did. And he wasn't in the business of building an entourage and paying everyone's bills and lives. He wasn't MC hammering it. That is true. His sisters did work. That is true. That's not to say that we know what happened inside the family. You get the feeling that enough people that weren't looking for anything from Kobe, but perhaps just to be acknowledged or a smile, if he were in fact such a bad dude, we probably would have heard more about it by now. I knew the kid a little bit in high school. He was a good kid. People change. We know that. But what we're dealing with is one former high school or childhood friend looking for an easier path in life. And Kobe wasn't about that. He wasn't about, you know, oh, sure, fine, here you go. He worked hard for what he had. But I do know that in the instance of what happened back at home, family relationships were strained. With that said, the motivation here has to be the timing of the passing of Joe, coupled with, yeah, I'm still a little salty about the fact that everybody got it wrong about this guy, feeling entitled to something because one of us made it. Just because you make it doesn't mean you got to bring everybody with you. You know, sometimes you have to actually make your circle even smaller. We continue on the countdown to number 4. And it comes to us from Lou Dobbs. God rest his soul, the longtime business reporter and news journalist passing away. We have to show some love to Lou Dobbs on a time in which he tried to say Guadalajara, the Mexican city of Guadalajara. I want you to watch, listen very closely, because this is outstanding.
The caravan of mostly Central American immigrants is now in the Mexican city of Guadalajara tonight.
I'm sorry, Lou Dobbs. God rest your soul. Can we see that one more time, please?
The caravan of mostly Central American immigrants is now in the Mexican city of Guadalajara tonight.
God rest your soul. Questions on the board. Question: would Lou want us to laugh about this? It doesn't matter anymore. He's gone home to be with the Lord. He is now with and of the universe. Yes, Lou Dobbs would want us to laugh about this. Can we watch it one more time, please, CK? Can I see just one more time?
The caravan of mostly Central American immigrants is now in the Mexican city of Guadalajara tonight.
I have no idea what went on there, but that's the kind of noise you make when the sand is too hot and you're just trying to get into the ocean. You're walking, wah. Yeah, question on the board is written and answered. Yes, he would want us to laugh at that. Like the video, hit subscribe. We continue on the countdown to number 3. Presented by Celsius. Essential energy drinks. Live fit. Celsius. Tropical vibe. Perfect to get your head and body right. Keep that energy sustained. No energy crash. Boston Connor is a member of the Pat McAfee Show. They were off for 2 weeks during Wimbledon. They just returned back to work on Monday. He's showing a brand new tattoo. Take a look at this tattoo and the placement.
I actually got my Bill Belichick tattoo.
What's that?
I got my Bill Belichick tattoo that I've been wearing. I was going to bring it up earlier. I decided not to. It's right here. It says, we're on to Cincinnati, William Stephen Belichick. I decided, you know what? This guy has made me who I am.
Is that real?
So that's a real. Yeah, I think that those colors don't run, brother. That's a real tattoo.
Okay.
We are on to Cincinnati. Question on the board. Question: is this tattoo regrettable or is it real talk? Look at him putting it on his body. I get it. He's a podcast guy and he's always going to be this guy and he's fortunate to be in the position he is. But that's real talk. We're on to Cincinnati is a tremendous moment in sports history. Forget about football. Forget about the Patriots. Bill Belichick saying we are on to Cincinnati is a reminder. It is a life lesson. And what it says is forget about what happened on Sunday. That's done with. Now we move on to what's happening this week. Whether you win or lose, you got to compartmentalize and you got to put it aside. The Game of Tennis is a famous book. Kobe Bryant, big fan of the game of tennis and the book, the inner game of tennis, excuse me. And what that book basically teaches is tennis is a wonderful teaching mechanism for life. You lose the point, okay, on to the next point. You win the point, great, on to the next one. You got to let go of things. You got to move on from things. When Belichick said we're on to Cincinnati, that was a point at which everyone cried, the Patriot dynasty is over. Oh, my God. And Belichick was saying, we move on. We look forward to the next game. They turned it around. They turned that season around. They won the Super Bowl, if I remember correctly, in that season. This is a real talk tattoo that says, in life, let us all remember, whatever you did is great or not great. Wherever you failed or succeeded, all right, that's behind you. What's in front of you? What's next? Get on to Cincinnati. Let's continue on in the countdown to number 2. Presented by St. Lucie Battery and Tire, the home of honest, reliable service since 1970. SLBT.com. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. Michael Rubin, Fanatics. I know it says here something close. It says fan, not icks, as in ick, as in yuck. Michael Rubin is the billionaire who's also part owner in many professional sports entities, including the Sixers. But he's also the guy behind Fanatics. Watch him inside of a pitching cage with a radar gun to see how hard he can throw. Look at this. There he is, and oh, what the? 48 miles an hour, not great, but wait, it gets worse. Goodness. This was part of a tweet, by the way, that was taken down. Michael Rubin did not like this being shared publicly, clearly. Questions on the board. Question, is this more hilarious or is it more heartbreaking? No, this is heartbreaking. I was in the 5th grade on a family vacation with my father, God rest his soul, and my 2 older sisters. And on the boardwalk, there was one of these, you can throw baseballs and try and guess your MPH, and then you can win a stuffed robot. I was throwing 55 at that point in the summer of 5th grade. This is heartbreaking. For a man who's involved in professional sports and is young and able-bodied to throw a ball, not even with the velocity, the fact that he's in the 40s, but like his form. Why is it so hard for so many people to throw a baseball? What are you people doing with your childhood? Let's get out there and play catch, learn how to throw a baseball. And just like that, all the way to number 1 in the countdown. Presented by Anna Jar and Levine, accident attorneys, take back control of your life. Matthew Tkachuk is a hero. He is, for all means, intents and purposes, the face of the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. When you win the Stanley Cup, everybody gets a day with the cup. You get a full day to do with it what you want. It's gone to strip clubs. It is gone skiing. It's gone to things that we can't even talk about. And done with things that we shouldn't discuss on a show like this. Look what Matthew Tkachuk decided to do with his day with the cup. He brought it to a St. Louis Children's Hospital. Look at this.
I'll see you guys in there, okay?
Look at this.
There you go.
There you go. There you go, buddy.
Awesome, buddy.
Call somebody.
Pictures of here, guys.
He's leading the way. He doesn't have PR people around him. He's like, here's me in the cup. Let me share this with all the kids. And then there was a little boy named Joe. And these kids, by the way, are facing serious illness and challenges. Take a look at Tkachuk with this little boy, Joe, and this moment with the Stanley Cup.
I know. Do you want to give it a hug?
You want to give it a hug.
Nice.
How sweet is that?
So we can get pictures. I'll hug it too. Let's both hug it. We can get a picture.
He's so good with kids. And look at Joe. That's something that Joe will remember for always, always, and forever, as well as families as well. Questions on the board. Question, should the NHL make Tkachuk the face of the league? Absolutely. He worked toward that, remind you, when he took the cup swimming in the ocean, was pouring beer from it, from 3 stories up, under the faces and gullets and down the throats of strangers beneath the elbow room. He is the son of, well, it's not Walter, obviously. Big Walt's a different character. An NHL star. He has a brother who's even better than he is, who is the captain of another team in the league. The Tkachuk family would be the first family of hockey if you could pronounce their name or spell it properly. The world is learning how to do that. This is what you do when you have the Stanley Cup, which, by the way, is bigger than any player in the league, past or present. Forget about the biggest trophy in sports. There's nobody in NHL that is more famous, that has more meaning, that is more important to people than the Stanley Cup itself. Taking it to a children's hospital with very sick little kids to be able to do that, have that moment, is what makes you the face of the league. Everything is in line for Matthew Tkachuk to be the face of the NHL as well. He should be. Hit like, hit subscribe. And remember, kids, while every day above ground is a good day, some are just more questionable than others. Second night to the bad guy. See you on Monday.